Cavai Integrated Services Limited. Thank you very much, Mr. Kafaru. Thank you very much for coming. We are very grateful that you're here. We also have Mrs. Ogochukwu Ejiofor. She is a visual artist for Art Bullet NG. I'm really interested in visual art and I like it a lot. I like what they do. So I'll be looking forward to learning from them. And thank you very much, Ma, for also being able to make it here. We hope to learn from you. So very quickly, I would like to ask a few students or people we have here who are not guests or anchors to please introduce yourself. If you're a child, you tell us your school and you tell us your class. And very quickly, we'll just go by it. I'll start with Gideon. Oye. I'm sorry, I don't really know the pronunciation of your name, so please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Sorry, please, can you say that again?
My name is
Gideon.
Okay. Okay, please continue. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I'll be moving on to Ayo Jesutomi. Please put on your mic, introduce yourself, and then you can please put it off.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Ayo Jesutomi. I'm a parent. Thank you.
Good morning, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma, for joining.
Thank you.
Good morning, Miss. Yes, the next person would be Mrs. Okiriafo.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mabel Okiriafo. I'm a parent and for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma, for joining. We are very grateful to have you here. I would quickly go on with the prayer, a word of prayer, and then we would begin. I would really appreciate it if we all have questions. The questions do not all have to come from me. So if you do have any question, you can always signify with a raise hand sign that you have a question, or also write it out in the chat box, and I would do well to make sure your questions are read out. Heavenly Father, we say thank you for the opportunity to be gathered together. We hope that as we've come to learn, you open our hearts to receive all that is required, as the desire is to make Nigeria great by having great people. Help us to be great people that build a great nation. Thank you for everything. For in Jesus' most precious name we've prayed.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to be moving on very quickly to my questions for our guests. With Mrs. Boluwatife Olorunniyi is still not here, but till she's here, we'll just continue with the other people we have. Okay, so my first question is to Mr. Kafaru. I would like you to explain to us what exactly your profession entails, because when I heard the word impresario, there was a lot that was going on in my mind. And I'm like, okay, I don't really understand much on that, but I would like you to explain to us what exactly does your role, what does the role of an impresario entail? Like, I understand the role of a composer and a pianist, so what exactly does your role entail?
Thank you very much for that question. I would like to tell you that it took me up until like some 6 years ago to actually figure out that I was an impresario. An impresario is someone who organizes and manages classical events, operas, classical concerts, ballads of the likes. What that entails is this: the entire activity has to do with music, acting, the sound production, conducting, managing the orchestra, everything that has to do with the stage lighting and all of that. So when you bring all of these together, you're then able to have a very good show if you do it properly. So it means that you need to have a skill set that encompasses all of these different parts which fit into this activity. So it means that you must have knowledge of music. You must be able to play a musical instrument. You must be dexterous to a very large extent. You must understand the music, what the music is trying to portray, what the composer of the music is trying to pass across to the audience. You must be able to understand how to communicate that expression or impression. You need to be able to bring out that impression from your performers, from the singers, from the way they sing, the manner in which they sing, into how they act it on the stage, and then the quality of the output of the music has to be clean, it has to be fine. That then involves audio engineering. So you must understand sound, understand the voices, understand the frequencies that work for them, understand the audio engineering techniques required to bring them out, to boost them such that they are audible, crisp, clear, they don't distort, even at very high volumes, because classical music is such that you sing on different levels, really high, really low, all depends on what the composer is trying to pass across. It's all in the passing impressions across, So, and it also means you must have knowledge of audio production, because sometimes you're not able to create certain sounds on the stage. So you bring in a studio to also work with the orchestra. And so there's somebody on the digital console sending in these digital sounds at huge in times. So the person has a score. He must have a score, a music score, something that looks like this, a music score, something like this, of the entire performance. So everybody who's involved in that production must have a score, regardless of whatever role they are playing. Even the guys who are handling the lighting, because sometimes you have to shut down the lighting at certain scenes, So it's all encompassing. It's a lot altogether to see. I mean, I can't say it all right now, but that's just a small picture of what it entails. Then you have the orchestra performing. You have to conduct the orchestra. Okay, you have the different instruments. You have to know when they come in, when they go out. All depending on what the composer is trying to pass across, and then the music and all that. So it's a lot put together.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That was quite detailed. Thank you very much. So I hope to the people who did not understand what an impresario's responsibilities were before today, you've been able to see that I can summarize it as the person who practically coordinates a music production. And this is a very, very intriguing responsibility. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing. As you were speaking, I was able to identify Mrs. Boluwatife Olorunniyi. You're welcome, welcome, ma. She is a radio journalist for Yoruba Dun, and she also seconds as a master of ceremony and an alaga juro for specific events. Thank you very much, ma, for coming. You're welcome, ma. Okay, so moving on, I would like to ask the same question I asked Mr. Kafaru. I'm going to direct this question to Miss Ejiofor. Thank you very much. Pima, what does the role of a visual artist, what does it cover? What exactly does that entail?
Good morning.
Mm.
First of all, there's a whole lot of things that so many people don't know about visual art. Visual art is really not just about drawing and painting. It's it's a lot though, but I will just try to, like Mr. Kafaru did, I'll just try to bring it down so that everybody can actually understand. Okay, first of all, visual art is about beautification. It's about turning your environment to a livable place, somewhere that you can enjoy. So we deal with paints, yes. We deal with drawings and making bringing art to life. There are different types of visual artists. There are people who do recycle arts, that is turning your waste to wealth, changing your waste bottles, a lot of discarded things we don't need in the environment, to something that is beautiful, something you can use in your house, something it can turn into so many items that you would actually use. right? While there are some people who do this visual art as just beautification, that you don't need to use the things. They're just there for you to admire and for you to like and for you to relate with. In my own field, I'm into interior decorations, and that is the aspect of my own specialty, and also recycling. Um, Visual art deals with helping people. Okay, so there is this aspect of visual art that also deal in medical line, where we use art to help people with autistic and also people who can't actually express themselves with words. They use they use paint and colors, anything bright to express themselves and also say things that they need to say. So these are like different aspects of visual art that many people don't even know or even talk about. All they see is just painting and drawing. So the art is actually encompassing, and it has a whole lot of things that I can share with you in the course of this.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you very much. Wow, I did not really understand. I did not know that art is also used in the medical field, but thank you very much. That was insightful. I am going to be asking Mrs. Boluwatife Olorunniyi to please discuss with us what exactly, I know everybody's quite aware of what the role of a radio presenter is, but then we might not understand this in depth. Also, I would like to understand exactly what the role of an agakaduro is from someone who is in the practice. So thank you very much, ma'am. Asking Mrs. Olorunniyi. Please, ma, you are muted. Okay, so that might be a problem with our network. Okay, that might be a problem with her network, so we'll just continue. Okay, thank you very much to the guest speakers we have. You've already helped us to understand that for this particular group that is meeting today, what we are looking at is creative. We are looking at creatives here. We are not looking at just the everyday 9 to 5, what's it called? The respected cliche professions, the lawyers, the medical doctors, but there are also very fun interactive professions like that of an impresario, like that of an interior designer, and visual artist. So thank you very much. I'll be moving on with my next question to Mr. Kafaru. What exactly was your motivation for picking this line, for choosing to be part of this?
It's interesting. In the world we live in today, where our parents want us to be engineers and doctors, conventional jobs, I originally am a chemical engineer. That's what I studied in university. Okay, and there was a particular course I recall, patent and invention, gave me an insight to providing solutions to problems in the world with my talents and skill set. So, of course, skill sets are things you acquire as you move on in life. You just acquire them. But talents are gifts that are inherent within you. So, while I was a child, I learned to play the piano. I played the piano to about grade 8. I think I was about 17, when I did my grade 8 ABRSM exam and I had a distinction. But that still notwithstanding, along the line, I would play with choral groups, accompany them, choirs, and then play with drama groups accompany the drama and all that, just out of curiosity. I wasn't being paid for it. I went to university, of course. And I wouldn't say I'm from a church background per se. No, I'm not from a church background per se. So I wasn't playing in church, you know. So, and then I started going to church choirs and helping out. And I found myself mostly in musical circles. And then university, I met Genie, the guy who sang Ego. If you help me see Ego, this feels good. I'm over killing it. So we started working together. We were going for different shows together. I was accompanying him and all that. And then on this day, I just woke up. I was hearing this music in my head, and I decided to write it down. And so writing down the notes musically allowed me create other notes to accompany the music. And the harmony started to excite me. And that's where it started from. You know, with this little thing, I started doing unbelievable things. You know, so then of course I came across softwares that allow us compose with ease, you know, production softwares. And then I left the university, no job. And I was already a studio rat. So even while I applied to Shell, and of course I had very excellent grades, you know, applied to Shell and all of that, I would get to the final stage of the interview, and for some reason I just wouldn't be picked. You know, 3-stage interviews and all that, 3 tiers and all that. And then so I was producing in the studio. So I kept producing, you know. So one thing led to the next, from producing hip-hop music with people like Vector, Pace, Bookie, you know, we kept going on. I started playing at the Muson Center, accompanying students, you know, accompanying choirs, accompanying from time to time, maybe the orchestra and all that for free. And I found out that intuitively, the word there is intuition. I could tell what a music required, the expression it required. This is a gift that everybody has, the inner voice within you. This is the key to creating solutions, you know. So it occurs to you, then you have the skill set to implement them. So while I accompanied as a pianist and played piano solo, okay, in accompanying, I learned expression. I was able to tell the musician, this is what the composer is trying to say. This is what Chopin, this is what Bach is trying to say in this music. And then they key into it, somehow they feel it, they connect with it, and the music becomes alive. Everything in creation is life. Music is life. If you can't express the music, if you only express it, you haven't started. And so, I mean, as I went on with all these activities, of course, at a point I had to take courses in audio engineering, and I had to take Royal School of Music exams on the organ, also with distinctions and all that. I started to apply everything. But as time went on, in 2015, I recall someone asked me, her name is Roti, she sang this song, Iwekiko, Lai Siyako. It's in the mainstream right now. So Roti approached me and said, let's do an opera together. So I said, okay, fine, let's do an opera together. So we chose the opera pieces. Of course, the opera pieces were Puccini, Caccini, Bach, Handel, you know. So, and then we then created our own unique orchestra. I then had to rewrite the music for that orchestra, adding certain to give the desired impression or expression for that opera. And so that's how it started. It had never been done before. You know, some people will call it distortion and all that, but you know, it's value addition for us. And there's value addition all over. Every innovative, everything you see out there today is all value addition. And so we did that. And then, of course, the sound had to be good. There were no solid audio engineers at the time. So I brought a lot of my equipment, we set up, you know, and started trying to get it right. So while I was managing the orchestra, conducting them, while I was also the score composer, I was also the pianist, I was also the music director, I was also the audio engineer, I was also the director for lighting and all that. You know, it was an experiment that was a huge success. And so I recall that day on the Muson stage, the chairman of Muson and Secretary Barry Akison came forward and said, we've never had this kind of opera music. How did you do it? Were they miming? Their voices were so clear, you know, and all of that. And I was like, oh my goodness, all these intuitive promptings, all these guns, which were translating into manifestations. It was actually what was going on at the time. And so a dear friend of mine in UK, Bennett, he's a psychologist, and he was just talking and he said, "You are an impresario." And I said, "What does that mean?" Just like he said, "What does that mean?" And so he started to tell me about it, and I had to read up about it and said, "Oh, this is someone with all these skill set." And that's how we started, you know. And so since then, I've done stuff with Asha, the Asha Live in Lagos 2017. That was my orchestra. Okay, that was, you know. And then subsequently, other operas, Pirates of Penzance, where I had to manage the sound. And then consequently, so many other events like that, you know. So I would say that in the beginning, I didn't know the end. And it's still not the end. There's still a whole lot more, because as the ideas occur to you, you evolve. It's a consistent, continuous process of evolution, where you evolve from one raw state to a finished product. But you have to be open to the guidance to get to that point. So that's my story in a nutshell in that area.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. That was complete. Thank you very much, sir. Mrs. Olorunniyi is back, so I would like to go back to ask her the question. Please, can you put on your microphone if you can hear me, ma? You understand that the network is not very
Hello, I can hear you. Sorry about that. Good morning.
No problem, ma.
Good
morning, ma.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma.
So, like I was saying the other time, almost everyone has a brief knowledge about what radio journalism is about. So I will not be talking much about radio journalism. I will be removing the radio and talking about journalism, because everyone cannot say, "I want to be a radio broadcaster, a radio presenter." No, we have so many other aspects of journalism that didn't really have so much people in it. That is one. And from the letter I got, I would also be saying something about the linguistics part of it, which is actually lagging at the moment. Everybody is now doing both type. Everybody is speaking English. Everybody wants to be an English presenter. But no, we got other languages here in Nigeria, and that's where some of these countries are having ahead of us. When you get a Chinese footballer who wants to do an interview, though I don't know anyone yet, will do an interview in Chinese. In Pakistan will do an interview. Why can't an Ijaw guy that is into football do an interview in the Ijaw language, and let them start looking for someone that will translate or transcribe? So, to do the introduction, let's look at what linguistics is about. And linguistics is someone who specializes in different languages. Someone that you don't necessarily have to understand the language, have the knowledge or know how to speak some of these languages perfectly, but you know the structure of the languages. You know the grammatical structure of it. You have the lexicography of the language. You know the phonetics aspect of it. You know the structure of the language. So even if you can't speak it fluently, you have the idea. You can't speak it fluently, but you know what it is, what the language is about. So when someone is saying a sentence, you know, okay, this language, like this language doesn't allow a noun to start its language, so it has to have a prefix before it starts it. Do you understand? Some language can start with that. This language does not end with a vowel sound, like a Yoruba language doesn't have vowel sound, except some dialects under Yoruba that will say ushu, but in normal, it doesn't start with you. We don't have the contemporary Yoruba will not say ushu ule. Do you understand? So that's when a linguist, so that's another aspect to it. That aspect of it is lagging behind. So many people know everybody wants to be a doctor and a lawyer, and do you understand? So yes. I envy that man. That man that is into piano. I wish I can even play any instrument, but I can play instrument, Oga. You can't come here and start bragging for us. I can play. I can clap my hands. That's the
very true.
That's good. I like to hear you.
So that's just a lifetime of this place is too serious. Kilo de. So talking about the journalism, yeah. like everybody knows, I'm into journalism, not even the era of social media, that everybody is now a journalist. Even someone that doesn't know how to speak, that can't construct a complete sentence is a journalist. I want to be the first to break this. I want to be the first to break this. And that's why we're having so many fake news, unverified news around. And you see them posting on WhatsApp. They are beheading 50 Christians in Pakistan. Every week you see it broadcast. Who is sitting down in their room and beheading 50 Christians in Pakistan every week? Oh my God, that message annoys me. And all these our grammars, we always want to send. Please pray, please pray. Jesus is dying and raising again for us. So, journalism is just the act of telling people what is happening. It can be in diverse ways. That is just a simple word for journalism, telling people what is happening. Divulging information, telling them, okay, this is what is happening in the Ukraine and Russia. This is what is happening. This is what is happening. So that's what journalism is about. And it's not only, you don't tell people information just with the word of the mouth. You have different aspects of journalism. I'm in the radio journalism now. I've been on screen and back to radio because it's the convenient one for me. Nobody is seeing your face, so just sit down. You do makeup, you know do makeup. You cut hair, you know cut hair. You fine, you know fine. Just see that it's your voice they want to hear. Let's make sure your voice is audible enough for them to hear. So that, but for screen, you will do makeup, plaster face, do rich, and post. It's not enough for you to. You have to be able to post. Your body gets choice. So if you can't carry your body, when you talk, give them swags, my dear, TV is not for you at all. So talking about broadcast journalism, we have the print. Some people cannot carry their body and they do not have mouth to talk, but they know how to handle their camera and give you the best shot. They can divert information with their cameras. Just like the other sister to that. I envy everybody that is here. It's not fair like this. So I may not be able to paint. I may not be able to draw, but my sister, if I sign for you on check like this, they will give you money, even if there's no money in my account. But that one is a work of art. So, that's another aspect. Let me rush down. We have the photojournalists. We have the digital journalists now. Some people that do caricature, episode to diverge from those. We have the sports journalists. Those ones, they don't need to be fined too much, because how many of those footballers are really, really fine? They need to be fined too much, but you need this baritone voice. You need a baritone voice. Arsenal to Chelsea 2-1. Oh, from the left to the right, it is a goal. So we need the project, the business journey. Those ones is money. All they know is money. We have so I'm trying to explain the different parts of it. You might, this person is a radio presenter, but what is it that she specializes? For me, I do news and a bit of entertainment. And that's what I do. I'm into politics too. When we are in the political era, just like this, so that I make my money. So after 4 years, I run and come back. After 3.5 years, run and come back because of my life. This is Nigeria. So we have the advertorial. The advertorial is the ones that all these billboards you are seeing is still under journalism. So they are the one that thinks, okay, how do we tell people that this social product is better than this? Okay, save the child, save the nation. They have one bottle of water that when you drink it like this, once you write the exam, my God, A from A to Z, no B, no C. So how can we divert this information? So let me keep this in. This is an example of what is happening to Sterling Bank at the moment, comparing Jesus Christ to agege bread. I don't know if you saw that. That is an example of a bad. So whoever helped them out with that, now they are under fire. He might have collected money and failed to cash out. Now he's going to bank to go and explain. But everybody is after it. How will you? So that's an aspect that most people, everybody can just wake up and say, I can write this, I can write that. I'm into voiceover, and that's another part of it. Some people you don't even know them. You don't know MTN, everywhere you go. That guy is cashing out every month. No. The last I checked, he said they signed him up 5 years. And after that, I don't know if they continue with him. Yeah, but they are still using the voice. So definitely, they are still paying the guy. So anytime you hear MTN, everywhere you go, I be yellow, something. Those voice alone, they are being paid for. So some people are just catching out. It's not until you do Yahoo before you have money, my dear. So there are some people cashing out. We have the investigative, we have so many other voice journalism. Thank you. So I see there's no
Thank
time
you
to talk
very
about
much,
Alaba.
ma'am. We're very grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. You've covered every single thing that journalism entails. Thank you very much, ma'am. And also on the part of a linguist, we get the full picture now. Before we continue, I'd like to ask Gideon to please tell us what exactly is your future ambition at the moment. I believe it's with us. Gideon, please put on your mic. Your microphone is off. Thank you.
I'd like to be a photographer.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Okay, please. Sorry, please, could you type it in the chat box? I think your network is not really stable, so I can't really hear exactly what you're saying. Sorry. Thank you very much. We'll be moving on to the next question. I was going to ask Miss Ejiofor, and my question is, why do you think your profession is relevant today? Why do you believe you've explained it to an extent? So I'd just like you to focus more on this. Why do you consider your profession quite relevant today in this world?
Well, the truth is, a lot of things that we even say, we even do now, we don't even know how relevant it is until we start understanding it. For instance, when I wanted to go to art, of course, there was a lot of no, don't do it. Artists don't have money. You would be broke for life. You know, there is no security. You have to do a federal government job. All those stuff, right? But in the world we are today, we realize that everybody has to have a skill set. And this skill set is actually what's going to set you up for life. Because no matter if the government decide that they don't want to pay, you will still have your skill set to fall back on, right? Now, relevance of my art, of my career is that it has become a revenue. It has become an investment. It has become a way for Nigerians to think forward. Right now, we're looking at Bitcoin. We're looking at a lot of cryptocurrency merging out from the market. Before, did we know it was going to come up? And someone has become a specialty. Is someone's specialty now? That's just what the person does as work, right? Before, we didn't know all these things can come up. Do you understand? Now, art has become a way to invest money. You buy art, is like buying land. It's like buying land. Tomorrow it will appreciate. It won't be the same amount you paid for that land that you'll be paying tomorrow. Now, art has doubled that, right? If you have an art piece in your collection, and that artist is a renowned. Let me give you an example of the ones we know now. We know Michelangelo. Everybody knows Michelangelo. They painted Mona Lisa, and you can't actually buy Mona Lisa now if you are not a museum, if you are not an entity that if you're not a country, in fact, because it is expensive. Anybody who has that in his collection has money for life, for your great grandchildren. So we're trying to make this obvious to people, because in as much as we know that Nigerians are yet to appreciate art, we also have outsiders, international bodies who already know what this means, and they're still taking what we have here in Nigeria, in fact here in Africa. Because let me give you a small history about how they came over. The white men came over and took our artifacts, our art piece, and called it juju, called it bad, called it all sorts of names, and took it over to their own place, and they're making money out of it, right? We who have the artwork, anything about it, so we can't actually say anything about it. But they know what it is and what it's about, and they're using it to make themselves rich. It becomes a revenue for them. People come all over from so many places, and they display it for them to see, and those people pay to see those nonsense that they called it nonsense. They pay to see those things, and because we are not grounded, or we don't really have information about these things, we don't know how to even treat our own. Now, thank God, currently they've been able to retrieve some of those things back to Nigeria. But that doesn't mean that we still appreciate or understand the level at which the artworks can actually carry our country if properly being exposed, right? So art is very important in the sense that it is a way for you to actually save up what you can use for your life. Most people buy artworks now. You say, oh, we have a lot of people who are selling art, and they have senators, and those people who know what it is about investment will tell you that yes, investing in artworks now is a way to go, because you don't know what your tomorrow will look like. We didn't know that tomorrow we'll have cryptocurrency coming up, and that is like the fastest way now to buy art. We have NFTs all over the internet, and people are seriously plunging into it. Do you understand? So tomorrow you don't even know what is going to come up. But if you have these art pieces and you have a collection as your backup, you'll find out that there is nothing the government is going to tell you that will make you shake, because you're covered. You're covered, you know what you're doing, you know the investments you have, and it's going to continue like that. Is like saying tomorrow we don't know what is going to entail tomorrow, right? So art pieces are we are moving to that era where if you want a collateral, you want to go and take a loan in the bank, and the bank will ask for a collateral, the art will become a collateral for you. Right? They no longer ask you for land or houses and all that. It becomes a thing, because GTB now is doing it. GTB and access banks are into it, are investing into this. So
Thank you very much, ma.
Matter of time. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just saying so many.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, ma. I'm really, really wowed by all of your explanation. Thank you so much, ma. I was able to pick from what you were explaining that right now, not only are artists like custodians of our culture, they are helping us to recount a lot of our culture. Now they are products that are also valuable assets that we can hold on to. So thank you very much. So this is not only for somebody who is going to study visual art or graphic arts or whatever kind of art in school. Now this is even for any human being who just feels, okay, I like art, I can keep it as a valuable asset. Who knows, maybe tomorrow that is going to be of more value to me than even my land in Banana Island. Thank you very much, ma, for that. That was very, very explicit. Okay, so I was able to get Gideon's response. He says he would want to be a lawyer, but he also loves photography. So I'm going to ask any of the guests here which of the professions he should, or what particular skill set he would require to at least practice that photography. What skill sets he will need, what exactly are those soft skills he could pay attention to if he would want to practice photography? Just
first, we all have what they call it. We all have phones now. We all have phones now, and a lot of people use these phones to do magic. Actually, for me, I would tell him that he should concentrate on graphics. Photography is graphics. Photography is photography. To be a good photographer is not just taking pictures. It's for you to understand light and the effects it has on the subject matter, for you to understand how to position yourself to get the best of what you're taking pictures of. So he has a phone, and there's a lot of apps right now on Google Play for him to download that talks about photography for beginners, right? So he can actually Google these apps for him to learn and understand what it means to be a photographer first. Because some people just take up cameras and just start taking pictures and say, oh yes, they are photographers. Because there are different types of photography. In fact, there is creative photography, where you would be creative about your work. It's not about what you want. It's not about snap a group of people coming together and you just take their picture. No, it's about you creating your own subject, making it a means of communication to other people. So a lot of things involved, but for now I would just say that study. YouTube have made everything very easy. All you need to do is just to go online and type how to be a photographer or photography for beginners, and then you read through and see what you can actually learn from there. Yeah, thank you.
So, hello.
So, okay.
Okay, just want to add this to it. Did I hear you say the guy wants to be a lawyer or a photographer, right?
Yes,
Hello?
that's what it says.
So if he's looking at a career in law, I would advise he should engage in argument and make sure he wins. That's what
Exactly.
it's about. Not just argument Chelsea and Man U, no. We're talking about intellectual arguments. If you want a game you should play chess. Understand it. Because law is for intellectual people, not just for any other. But that's why some people don't make headway in law. It's not because they don't like it. I didn't get it lost. Don't mind them. It's not because they don't like it. After 6 years, you now understand that, wow, this thing is normal, man. It's not a shy play. That's why they go to other profession. They just cross to banking and start calculating money. But if you want to practice it, my dear, we have to be able to understand. You should be able to look at issues critically. When everybody, for instance, this issue that is going on, it's not a good example actually. Look at it from the mother's end, because every bad thing, both the accuser and the accusee, they will have their lawyer. Don't always support the good parts. Sometimes support the negative and try to win it. And be in literary and debates club in school. Do you understand? So, but in house is better than the students. You present your case, just like you said. YouTube is what, use your phone wisely. Get information from it. Do you understand? But most especially, like, if you want a game, you should go and learn chess. It helps you to think. It helps you to think deeper. Okay, sorry, I caught you, Jaren. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much.
So
Very okay.
Can I add something to what they said? Gideon, photography is one of the arts I respect the most, because basically you're capturing moments, real life moments that are passing. Being able to spot a moment is an added talent. You need to have an eye for it, for you to see it and capture it from an angle that preserves it. In being able to preserve it, you can pass it on to others to enjoy, to savor. Yeah.
Okay.
That will mean that you'd have to learn to. You're going to be a lawyer. That means that you're going to have to learn to basically engage people, try and see all the perspectives in a matter, and then argue it in favor of your client. Okay. One day you're going to want to retire from that. Okay. But you don't retire from the moments in nature. You don't retire from the moments in the world. You keep capturing them, you keep preserving them, and you keep passing them on. And you see, there are moments that cannot be replicated. Okay, it's a moment that will pass by and you can't catch it again, but you would have caught it with your camera. And then it will be exclusive to you. In its exclusivity, it has value. You place a value on it. So people will come to your gallery, people come to your art house, they come to your exhibition. And if they're that good, you find out that museums would actually want to, house your art. Okay, and then you have them on display. People come, they see your stuff, and then you start to travel around the world. You just travel as a hobby to just look around and capture moments. And you bring them back for people who don't have the privilege that you will have to travel, and then they're able to see it, And then Ms. Ogochukwu mentioned NFTs. NFTs mean non-fungible token. Here, that non-fungible tokens are cryptographic assets on a blockchain with unique identification codes and metadata that distinguish them from each other. So basically, your work would be an origin placed on it, and the value will keep increasing. The more people view it, the more people show more interest in it, the more the value. So yes, and that's something that you can never tire of. So I'll encourage you to listen to the voice within that tells you something is going to happen there, or bring out your camera just now. You just never can tell what you'll capture. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much to our guest, because you covered even the part that isn't relating to art. And I'm thankful for the explanations you're giving him as regards photography. One thing I've been able to identify from the three different fields we've looked at music, we've looked at art in terms of visual arts, and then we've also looked at art in the way of oral communication in terms of language. I've been able to see that there's a lot of life. It brings life, it adds life. It is a lot of life that comes with art, and that's something that one should not even take for granted. I'm going to be moving on very quickly, so we'll be having like 2 to 3 minutes to answer every one of our questions. The next question I have is for Mr. Kafaru. Actually, this question is for all of our guests. What subjects do you think a student who is in senior secondary school should start paying attention to practice any of the professions you've identified? Okay, your own profession now, that's of an impresario. What exactly are those subject combinations that should be paid close attention to? He or she should pay very much attention to as of secondary school.
That's a very tough question. First, I will say that I'll use myself as an example. I'm science-oriented, okay? And because my parents were aware that arts are basically not things that I would say, study per se. Okay, you could learn the technique to convey the art across, but it's not something you study. It's something you practice. You keep practicing over time. Okay. But the what equips you for the world basically are to have knowledge of the sciences and finance, so to say, because you must be able to monetize what you create. And in being able to monetize it, you must be able to market it. Okay, so I would say that while you practice your photography and you learn a bit about arts, you should also have knowledge of economics so that you can monetize your art. You should also have knowledge of the sciences, some level of engineering, so that you can bring your art to life, so to say. So I'm using myself as a case study. I mean, I did the sciences, I studied chemical engineering. It's not what you think, like chemicals, no. It's basically mathematics, mathematics of everything, okay? And music is mathematics. Oh, yes. Now, what most people don't understand is this. In practicing the arts, the two sides of your brain opens up. The right side of your brain is basically used for theoretical work, for receiving, and then you then use the right side to interpret and then bring out. So when you practice the arts, it develops both sides of your brain. You learn to play an instrument, you have to use both sides of your brain. And when you use both sides of your brain, it means you're now able to absorb more than what the regular person would absorb. So there's no rigid rule to it, per se, if you ask me. I would say, Gideon, open up yourself to what really interests you. Pay attention to what interests you. You look at a subject, they tell you it's chemistry, commerce. You read up about it. What's commerce about? How can I apply it? What's chemistry about? It's in the application that you know if it's applicable to your interests, and then you can then go ahead, to choose. So it all depends on the individual per se. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I'll also be asking this question to Mrs. Ejiofor. What subject combination do you think is best for somebody who wants to go into visual art? Not exactly Gideon, not only Gideon now, but anybody who is interested in visual art.
Okay, so subject combination is a little bit tricky, but like Mr. Ibukun had already said, it's what actually interests you, right? There is no two ways or there's no formula to it. But for the sake of Nigerian universities, because Nigerian universities can be very funny sometimes, right? For the sake of going into a Nigerian university as an art student, of course, you have to do visual art. If fine and applied art is a thing you want to actually concentrate on, and which for Gideon's photography falls under that. So you must have fine and applied art first. Then you're looking at literature, and you're looking at, you can decide, okay, government and economics, you can decide if you want to choose between those two. Then you're also looking at maybe agric, or you can also consider commerce, like what he said, because our parents don't know these things before, but we now know these things because we're now in the field, and we know that there is this particular subject that actually would enhance your abilities, right? Now, being an artist too doesn't mean that you actually need to know art, like know art, I know how to draw, I must know how to do that. It's all just continuous practice, because you can be self-taught, right? You can decide to do another thing entirely, and because you have the interest in that art, you can be self-taught. But being self-taught doesn't mean you're going to make money. Everything right now we do boils down to changing it into currency, right? So you have to be equipped with something that will make you understand how money flows in and out, how you can invest, how you can be a better, what I say, business-oriented person, regardless of what interests you. If you have a hobby and you can't turn your hobby into money in Nigeria now, man, you're wasting your time in that hobby, because everybody says, do that thing which you love, because it's what you love so much that would turn into money for you. You get, work becomes play. So whatever subject you're changing into, or your because some people even go to universities at the end of the day and still do a very big U-turn, you know. So I there is, like he said, there is no formula to these things, but I would only just tell you that the core things you need, it's something that has to do with understanding your welfare and finances very much.
Thank you
Then
very much, ma.
doing the core
Okay, please go
subject.
on, please go on. Okay.
Okay, no, just I'm already actually done. Just doing the core subjects and things that would make you understand your welfare and finances. That's it.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you so much, ma. I saw a question being asked. The question is for somebody who is interested in mass communication or theater and graphic arts. And this question is going to be directed at Mrs. Olorunniyi. In 2 minutes, please. I think the person is asking for subject combination for somebody who is interested in mass communication, and considering that is your line, and also theater arts, she's asked what exactly are the subjects that should be combined. I don't know if she can hear Mrs. Olorunniyi.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, mass communication. Mass communication. The problem we have at the moment is that I mentioned something about linguistics. Everybody now wants to do English. What is mass communication? Mass communication is a situation whereby you are you are delivering a message to the general public. You want to announce. In the olden days, they do town crying and blah, 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 blah. Just trying to explain what you need. The person should understand what mass communication is about. So when you want to go into mass communication, why most of them hardly get a place and they now end up being a literature teacher in secondary school after doing mass communication, is because all of them are into English. If you are not the outspoken person, yeah, I'm shy, don't go for even if Unilag give you, don't collect. You should go to philosophy or any other courses. If you are shy, out of it, because you have to be an outspoken person to be able to do into mass communication. Mass communication, I want to deliver this message no matter what. So what you need, your literature is in English is important. Everybody knows math and English is important for you to do for any course. Your literature in English, your CRS or IRK, your language. I don't like Yoruba. Our Yoruba teacher is abusive. Please collect that abuse in peace. Igbo, if they do Igbo in your place or Hausa. Why this is important is because you'll be able to code switch. There's something we call code switching, and that's those people that make money in our industry, really big money. That's where they get it from. Because when a station employs them, they know, okay, this person can actually stand in for take an English news for afternoon if he or she is around. So it's an added advantage to us. And for you too, when you want to do a voiceover for a person, they know, when you get this person, you are getting the whole package. They give you English, give you Yoruba, give you Pidgin, give you Hausa, add a bit of Igbo to it. My dear, what are we still waiting for? Do you understand? So your language is important. And if you want to do an international language, you do go for French or any of the international language. But you need your literature in English. You need your government. Yes, that's important. Though after the WAEC, government might not be needed again because you will not do anything government in the higher institution except for your GNS. But for now, please concentrate on those your art subjects, which are important. Pick a language, please. Read your literature. Why you need literature is life. You need the exposure. Because when you want to do an intro to your program, you can tell us about the quote of what's this man, Martin Luther King. Because you need to be exposed. That's what I was looking for. In mass communication, need to be exposed. That's mass communication. You need to be exposed from business to politics. So anything you see that is readable, please read, because you might need it at some point. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you very much, ma. Thank you to all of our guest speakers. You've all helped us to understand a lot. In summary, what they've all said is that since it's art, there's really no limit to what exactly you can learn. You can learn a lot, but then you should pay attention considering a lot of WAEC and JAM consideration, subject combinations that are necessary. You can pay attention to applied arts, pay attention to literature, pay attention to government, pay attention to English, and not only English, even other languages, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. Pay attention to even French, if you consider that. You can pay attention to as many languages as possible. Pay attention to economics and commerce, because you need to take care of your finances. Then pay attention to mathematics, not because mathematics is, I know most people that do arts don't really like math like that if you look at it, but we need to pay attention to math because it's a very important requirement as you move on in your academics. Okay, I'm going to ask this very, very comfortable question to all of our guests, and I would like you to please respond in 1 minute, not more than that. How lucrative is your profession? This question is first of all directed at Mr. Kafaru. How lucrative is the profession of an impresario?
Okay, because being an impresario involves many skill sets. Okay, you'll probably practice being an impresario maybe once a month, twice a month, if you are fortunate. But you can always be an audio engineer every day. You can always be a producer every day. The entertainment industry is booming seriously right now. Okay, you can also be a composer for the movies. You can produce soundtracks for the movies. That is another huge area, So you can also be an accompanist for concerts. Concerts hold every other week, every month, every festive season, and all of that, So I would say that it is very lucrative. It's so lucrative that, as an example, I can afford my excesses, not just my needs. I can afford my excesses. I can afford to drive a car that I would love to drive and say I'm proud of. I'm a Mercedes person. I've always been driving Mercedes, So I would say that, yes, it doesn't just pay the bills. It allows for there to be savings in the bank. And, I can also afford to do in my indulgences. I want to travel and go out, and have fun. Yeah, so I would say very lucrative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, so this question is also to Mrs. Ejiofor. How lucrative is visual arts? You've already told us to an extent that if you have a very valuable art piece, it's as valuable as having a land somewhere. So just tell us more. How lucrative is the profession of a visual artist?
Well, art is actually a very lucrative career, and it actually gives you time to yourself. Really, there is no 9 to 5 or somebody shouting at your head that you didn't come to work all the time and all that. It just gives you your own time and your own timetable to make whatever what you have to do. Yeah, like Mr. Bayomi said, Ibukun, he said the time it doesn't come all the time. You get it doesn't come all the time, but we have graphic works having to do graphic works every time. You can do graphics for people who want to do burials, prints for their loved ones, birthdays for their gift items and things like that. Well, those are the everyday things that come to you. And then you also have things like having to move into a new house. Oh, we want to decorate this place. We want to make it look this way. Then you have bars. People want to put up beautiful decorations in their bars. They want to have paintings of some particular sort. Then you have hotels. Hotels want to put up artworks, printed artworks on their walls, and those that can afford originals would want you to do printed works and a lot of graphic. There's a whole lot of things going on in the arts world. Then of course we have the NFTs, and then we have the OpenSea where you bid for art auctions, and a lot of things are all going on. The thing is, what do you want to do with your art and your right? If you get that, you can actually just move yourself towards the direction. And also have plays. Actually, we do stage props for plays and all that acting and all, because even movies, you have decorations on their faces and you have a lot of things are going on. It's just for you to actually just say which one you want to do, and you will be prompted into the right space. Yes.
Thank you very much. But before I ask the next, before I ask Mrs. Olorunniyi, one thing I've been able to identify is that you can actually enjoy this profession while doing something else. You don't have to, based on the fact that they don't require you to be in the office all the time or be in a particular
Yes.
space all the time.
Yes.
You can practice these professions and something else. So you don't have to think, oh, because this is the field I'm going into, I cannot go into
Diversify.
something else. Please, let's put off our microphones. So if you are okay, so you can actually consider these professions and still do something else. Thank you very much. So I'm going to Mrs. Olorunniyi. Please, ma, what exactly, just in 1 minute, how lucrative do you consider the profession of a linguist now, language artist?
Give me 1 minute. I will have 30 seconds, please. So the profession, like I explained, it's lucrative because you choose your path. That is just you choose your path. As a radio presenter, you can be a freelance, you can be a working, you can be a permanent staff. That's one way to it. If you are good at what you do with your language, my dear, you can actually switch into events. If you are good at languages, you can go into translation, interpretation, and all sorts. Do you understand me? And in place of journalism, you write stories, you sell your stories out. That's the way of making money. Print journalism. If you are into photo, if you're into, so you sell your things out. It depends on where you position yourself, just like every other person has said, what you are doing and how good you are. You understand me? So that is that you don't wake up this morning and start saying, I want to walk into a radio station, I want to start being paid $500,000. No, it's not possible. You build your career. So in the process of the building, that is what we sell, how lucrative you will be. It will be to you. You understand? Because the same way we are talking about him being a pianist and this man, sorry, that's work you say you're doing. I can't pronounce it. I will not want to remove my teeth. So that one that is doing, sure you understand. We have some people that have been there all the time and didn't think, okay, let me monetize it. Some people can even press anything more than piano, than to bring their head and their leg at the same time. And there's, all those our grandpas that are playing those keyboards in church organ, those times, they are good now. They also use their legs to do some things, but they're not making money. So it depends on how there's nothing you can monetize now. How good are you and where you want to monetize it? That is it. Learn the skill. That's the first thing. Not just learn the skill. Learn everything learnable, the rudiments of it, everything. So that wherever you want to monetize it, my dear, they will not pay you cheap. They'll pay me. I want to come in for Alaga now. I will not do Alaga 15,000. I will not do 50,000. I will tell you, and depends on the location. So that is it. How sweet your mouth is. That's how we determine how they are. Some people don't even know this work. But by the time they package themselves, hello, good morning, my name is Boluwatife Olorunniyi, by the time they give you that packaging, my sister, you will sign check for them.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you very, very much, Ma. Thank you. Before we continue, can we ask if there are any questions from the audience? If any of the audience has a question to ask very quickly. Just in. Okay, I can see. Okay, Isaac Okoyemi Adigun.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, thank you very much. With you, I did not start with you from the beginning. So, carry on with what you have taught us. The little one I heard about whatever that we learned or that we are learning, we should make sure that we learn very well. And also, most especially in language, because I was having it in mind as a clergy to even leave the country to abroad, which I know that the language will, be very, very important. Most especially if you can couple it together, English together with French, it will help a lot. So please, how can we and in what area can we really, you understand, develop ourselves? As you have said, and what will be the benefits? Because when you see pastor now doing some other job, you understand, people will begin to, in some denomination, they criticize a lot. You understand? And that is why I want to know, in which area can pastor also do that, or bringing it in, most especially in agriculture? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I'll direct this question to Mrs. Olorunniyi. The question, in summary, is how exactly do we develop ourselves so that we know we have is not enough language skills for wherever it is we find ourselves?
Okay, thank you very much. I would greet you. Good morning, sir. Talking about, I don't like it when people mention French around me. I'm a graduate of Yoruba studies. They didn't give me Yoruba. I actually wrote JAM, and I wrote Yoruba. So it's what I wanted to do. Do you understand? So I don't like when people say French. Fine, you are going outside the country. I have people that go outside the country because they want to go and teach Yoruba. We have universities abroad that have Yorubas to be teaching, and you don't even need to go there. If you want an extra job as a minister, apparently I'm an online Yoruba teacher. I don't know if that one, if you have time to do that. If you are vast in what you know, and you can actually teach people, because they have Nigerians abroad that want their kids to learn the language. So you can just start making your side hustle from there. That is one out of it. So getting vast about it is, you should know what you want. Like I said something, not just knowing it. You have to know it enough to be able to monetize it.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? This is just beyond answer. You have to know anything. If at now, the way I'm learning your voice, that is, if at now you want to start learning French, it will take a bit of time, because you will think of, NEPA have increased light money, we pay school fees. So start learning French now, another thing. But the Yoruba, you can actually just brush it up. Few proverbs and the likes, and you can actually even add translation to your work. If you are vast at it, can learn the terms and that translation. Do you know how much it costs to translate all this? Even without traveling abroad, all these billboard that you see, they write Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. Do you think we will now translate it for free? Are you whining me? I did that in a while. I should not lie. I have a friend that works with the state government. You just send me English. I shall be please translate. I now went to a kid that was like, this is I just gave him are you crazy? So you're collecting money from government. I don't wise up inside life. So
Thank you very much.
I don't know how much it is, the standard price now, but you can come up with your price when people know you are good at it, even before traveling to the abroad. You start making the abroad money and still making Nigerian money. Some of us are Bele Power, not because we do Yahoo, but because we are at home and making our money. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you very much.
Sorry, ma. Sorry, before. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, ma.
I can hear you,
before sir. Thank you very much. I want to go exactly in that area that she just told us now about Yoruba. Yoruba is my language, and my wife also, as a nurse, she also went for this Yoruba program in this radio Lagos, where he finished with them. But I want to tell you now, if somebody wants to, like a science student, which I was when I was in school, if I want to cross now, I want to learn more about Yoruba. Is it that I'm going? I should go for self-development, or I need it? Anything? I only cited French as an example. What I really need is my own language, because I know today, even from the prayer mountain, they also advise that in America is an earthquake. You understand? And I know that one will also help the ministry. Please, which one how can I get into it fully? by developing myself alone on social media, like on the internet. Please help.
Well, Sam, let me understand the angle that you are coming from. For example, let's see, language, the more you speak it, that's a practice, that's a practice you need. The way you can command your tone.
Okay.
If you want to go into, that's what you actually need. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yes.
if you want to, you don't need to go and do an extra lesson, extra course, except you want to go into, the academic world. That's when you can say, okay, now you want to switch. You need a PGD, I guess, if you want to switch to a lecturer, so that when you get over there, you're not just making money from teaching the young ones, but you're into the school system to teach them proper. Do you understand? So that's what you will need to do that. But if it's for you to now start doing translation and every other one, you need to just sit back and take books, the academic books. You need to read them, and thank God for Yoruba and English Bible. It actually helps. So when you read the English version, you go back to what the Yoruba translation is, and it's sinking you. So when you see a word at some point, and maybe you are interpreting for someone in church or in a gathering, and the person used the word like lala, and lala walaye, you not start cracking your do you understand that? So you just know that in every of our struggles in life, that is just the appropriate English to it. In every one, every our struggles in life. So that will actually help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma. I really would appreciate more of your questions. However, you can please write them out in the chat box. So we have very little time left, so we can cover up all we need to discuss. Thank you very much, sir, for asking, and thank you very much, ma, for your responses. I will just quickly, please, I'm pleading with us to please use only 1 minute to respond to the questions I'm going to be asking. And this question is first to Mr. Kafaru and then to Mrs. Ejiofor. What exactly are some skills you can learn? And when we are talking about what exactly are there opportunities now for students in school or students who are preparing to go into the university, that opportunities for them to endeavoring while preparing for school, like opportunities in your profession, opportunities in her profession that they can endeavor in even while they are still carrying out school runs. So it doesn't affect their school, but they can participate in school activities and still make money, do what it is that they are enjoying, and stuff like that. Are there opportunities like that?
Thank you for that. Oh yes, there are many opportunities like that. Very quickly, being able to make a soundtrack or a beat is something anybody can do from the comfort of their computer. So you have your laptop, you have your software, you have your tone banks, you pull them all together, you create something unique. Now in you have the internet. Over the internet, you have websites like AudioMark, where you can showcase what you have created. Okay, you can to keep showcasing what you've created, and then use hashtags, and people will then link them to you. They come to you, they want to buy your music, they want to buy what you have created, So, and this doesn't affect your schoolwork. Okay, so if you learn to also play musical instrument along the line, it will also help, like the piano for starters, to help make your music versatile. So yeah, that's it pretty much.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, to Mrs. Ejiofor. Also, somebody is asking in the line of theater arts now. Is there any opportunity? And if there is, or if there are a couple of opportunities like that, if you're well aware of, are there specific skills that the person needs to acquire for somebody who wants to go into theater arts? And the person needs to know if there are specific skills that the person should acquire just to add or boost his or her portfolio, want to say just a skill set, more or less.
Hi. Okay, so for arts, there's a lot of opportunities actually, because there's a whole lot of people who do workshops. Like for instance, Bruce Onaburokwere is also doing workshops for people who don't even know anything about art, but they have the interest in learning about art, right? This workshop always run for 2 weeks, and they have mentors and facilitators.
Hello, Ma. We can't.
If it's under theater arts and all, they also have Naked Art Gallery where she teaches dancing and also some stage performances. Now,
Oh, we can't hear you, Ma.
it's just left for you to indicate interest. Find out if you
Can she recap?
Sorry, Ma.
I'm
Please, could you? I'm very sorry, Ma. Can you just like recap? We lost you at a point, and we can't hear some of the things you mentioned. You mentioned a particular school where they learn to do stage plays and a couple of other dancing and other
yes,
things.
Naked Art Gallery does dancing, and she teaches people on what to do on stage plays and things like that. There is also some group of young people who have started doing stage plays. I can't really remember the name right now, but if I do, I would send it to the main person. I can't remember. I can't really remember the name now, but I know that there's a whole lot of people in Sulere. They actually perform most times in Musum Center, and I actually have gone to watch their plays 2 to 3 times.
The classical.
No, just stage plays. No, such stage plays, and also things that has to do with theater in terms of dancing, in terms of recapturing some of our literal works by Chinua Achebe and all that, things fall apart and things like that. So there's a lot of things you can actually you can adhere to before you enter school, and this would even boost your momentum, your interest, your abilities before you enter school. So school will just teach you the theoretical part and also the aspects that you will face when you come out. Then you will know where you want to specialize, because at the end of the day, not everybody would be able to be actresses or actors. Some people will specialize in the lighting effect, the makeup, the stage hands, and all that, So yes, there are things. All you need, most of these people are actually online. You can just type in things online and ask questions, find it on Google, and they are there. Their presence are there, right? So that's
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma.
Sorry, can I quickly add to what she just said? I'm
yes,
sorry. So
30 seconds, sir.
30 seconds. Yeah. So there are groups. Go to a place like Terra Culture. Okay, Terra Culture is in Victoria Island. You go to Muson Center. Go to The Classical. The Classical is in Yaba. The Classical. I'll probably leave the names. These are the groups that produce operas like Saro. Local OM musical is all over the place right now. They're looking for help. They're looking for actors, interested actors, upcoming actors, who can sing, who can do all sorts of things, So yes, they're there, like she said. I just wanted to give specific names and locations.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for everything. We have less than 8 minutes to complete this meeting. And I just want each of the speakers to just end with this. Please tell us what area of your field requires development and a word of advice for children who are interested, even if it's not as their main profession, but also in endeavoring in arts, this is even just arts, culture, communication. Just three. I think you have just 1 minute to do that. An area of your field that requires development, and what is your word of advice for the next generation of children? And I think I'll start with Mrs. Olorunniyi.
Hello. So, development. Like I said, you need to know what you're doing and be creative about it. every aspect of it. When we see new inventions, new innovations in presenting, it's appreciated. So you can come up with your own style. You can come up with your own style. It's actually accepted in any way. So, and sorry, I want to add to the question that was answered last. Walk into media houses, have your student ID card. That's why in our own place, they do, as in when you do mass comm or journalism, they ask you to go and do IT. They ask you to go and do CWES so that you can get yourself acquainted with what the system really looks like. So you will not be surprised when you get into the system properly. So like I said, just get your skill brushed up very well. This is art. We don't know the end of it. Everybody just keep doing their own thing. And every mistake in art is a design, like they used to say. Every mistake in art is a design. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. I'm very, very grateful for all of the wonderful things you said since the beginning of the meeting. God bless you, Ma. I'm moving on to Mrs. Ejiofor. Please, what exactly is your word of advice, as well as an area of development that the children can hope to bring a change to?
First of all, I would say that children can actually start being aware about the arts. There's a whole lot of holidays, workshops, and a lot of activities going on. People invite for children to participate in. And this can actually help them if they cannot go to the places we have mentioned. You just look out for these activities. It helps them to understand what they want to do in the art, and you have like a beginner's lesson in all these in all the activities that people post online for children to participate in. And I think the arts industry in sense of visual arts need more awareness, more people to indulge in it, because there is nothing like, oh, it will not give us money. Everything now gives money. All you need to do to be aware and also be good in doing what you're doing, right? Just like what Miss Boluwatife said, you have to continue. You need to know what you want to do and focus on it. Continuous
Thank you, Ma.
So you have to continue practicing so that the craft will be permanent in you, right? So that is my own take for young ones.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you.
You would be able to stand out. Thank you.
Yes, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you, sir. So very quickly, Mr. Kafaru.
Thank you. So basically the apex I'll take music as a case study, is getting to the Grammys. So Whiskey got to the Grammys, Angelique Kidjo won the last Grammy, and Nigerians were so upset. Why didn't they give it to Whiskey? It's very simple, content. I mean, you can't compare her content to Whiskey's content. They're on different levels. So I would say that area in the music industry is also very open. Sound is still a problem. The quality of sound we produce here in Nigeria, I mean, you can't compare an LP from Nigeria to an LP that came from America or France or something. The sad part is that we still use the same equipment. Nigerians we inquire about the most recent equipment, we buy them, but we lack the technical know-how. So there's still a huge vacuum in that area, that needs development. And then, like Ms. Boluwatife said, there's no end to growth, in summary. Every generation comes with something new. And it keeps evolving and it keeps getting better and better. Just like they say, the beautiful ones are yet to be born. The beautiful ones will always be yet to be born, even when they come. So I would say basically that be open and be ready to be creative and be ready to walk the path, do the work to make your creativity manifest. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much to all of our guest speakers today. I'm very, very grateful. It has been an entertaining time. It's very insightful at the same. I'm really, really appreciative of everything that you've said. Someone was requesting for the names of different galleries. There's the Adenike Arts Gallery, Terra Culture, Day Classical, Muson Center, and also media houses. So children, you don't have to wait till you are you've already garnered a BSc or an MSc before you can start practicing in any art field or art area at all. So these are the things you need to do. And one thing that has been said repeatedly is that there's need for self-development. It's not everything that is going to be taught in the four walls of a university or a secondary school. There's need for you to develop yourself. So you should open yourself up to the opportunities available, especially on the internet today. Also be very teachable. Also, you are allowed to use your creative minds to come up with different things that you consider perfect. So you don't have to wait for what you are taught. You can be creative and share whatever creative content you have, and you'll see that there will be a lot. So once again, thank you so much to all of our guests. We are very, very, very grateful. It has been very, very interesting having you here, and we trust that God will bless you and continue to keep you, and you will continue to enjoy your profession even as you continue to practice by God's grace. Amen. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the meeting is going to end in 15 seconds. About 10.
main group. I want to thank everyone. I hope we've all learned one thing or the other. I was moving in between the breakout sessions, and I was able to learn one or two things. I learned most especially about, like, the last thing I heard Mr. Defolu say was taking out time to volunteer as a student. That money is not the first thing that you're looking for. You want to build the skills so that you'll be able to earn the money when the time comes. So thank you so much to all our speakers today. Thank you to our moderators. Thank you to all our participants. I really, really believe you've learned something. Can we all just unmute and say a word or two? everyone just unmute so that we can say goodbyes?
Okay, if it is goodbye,
So,
goodbye from my hand.
yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Dr. Ebini may answer. Thank you for joining today.
It's a pleasure to always be on your program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Goodbye. It has been a very useful one, especially for me, even learning across the other discipline, veterinary medicine, and ag economics that was among us. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for having me. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for
everyone.
coming.
Thank
Let
you,
me
everyone,
also say
for
thank you for the learning experience. And I hope the students were able to pick one or two things. And I hope that in the future, we'll hear more from them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this enlightening session.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for joining, sir. And from our arts section, do we have any last words from our speakers in the arts section?
Thank you for inviting me. It was a very insightful time.
Thank you.
I really learned a lot myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think the learning never ends. We learn from one another, and this is one of the opportunities we have to learn from one another. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ogochukwu. Kafaru.
It was beautiful. Thank you so much. We don't know what we carry within us until we're allowed to share. And then when we start to share, we then realize, what we've acquired over the years, and we can appreciate what we've learned and being able to pass it across. And then to hear from other people, hear their insights to everything per se, and then your perspective to life broadens, your horizon broadens. So yes, it was a win-win, give and take for me. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Kafaru. Mrs. Olorunniyi. Are you still on the call?